Hi, how are we?
Yeah, very well. And yourself, Guy? How are you?
Amazing.
How's the shift today?
We're getting there. We're busy, keeping strong.
Yeah, looking forward to some drinks. Can I order a martini?
A Kingdom's Martini.
Kingdom's
Just
Martini.
the way you like it.
And Molly.
I think I have a white lady.
A white lady?
Yes, thank
Absolutely amazing. I'll bring that back to you now.
Alright, thank you very much.
Right, so today we're going to talk about a topic that we undoubtedly can't ignore at the moment, which is COVID-19.
Mm-hmm.
Just to kind of get Kingdom's perspective on that as someone who's kind of lived through it and experienced the impact firsthand.
Yeah.
So I guess if you could just start by telling me a bit about how COVID has changed the hospitality industry.
I think firstly, COVID has been an absolute disaster and life-changing experience for all of us, not just the hospitality industry. But I think we've all had to adapt. We've all had to change the way we do things. We've had to our cleaning regimes, the way we conduct ourselves in the building, the way we interact it's had a massive impact. And also I think it's also brought the fighting spirit in most of the businesses in the industry, and ultimately, or rather, 2 or 3 points that are very massive is understanding how important the hospitality industry is to the economy, but also to the well-being of people, but also to the community. How important this industry has been showcased so far during COVID. And also I think it's definitely had a bit of a kick, and it's definitely been not necessarily looked in as an important part, but I think people are realizing now how important our jobs are, waiters, bartenders, and the contribution that we have to our well-being as well as the economy is massive, and it can never be taken away from us ever again. And the respect that actually what we do is important.
I think, like you say, the social impact is actually very important. I mean, it's easy to look at the economic impacts, that are quite obvious with COVID around, but the social impact of people being able to go out and express themselves and enjoy time with their friends, people who go out on their own even.
Exactly. I mean, there's so many aspects of the hospitality industry that people took for granted or didn't think about or didn't appreciate. Whereas actually now, with COVID, I'm desperate to have a beer with my friends. I'm desperate to have a beer with our guests. I'm desperate to enjoy a good old hug and a good old hello, and that interaction is so important. It's so fundamentally a part of our DNA. And I think, as much as social media took over and whatever, I think it's great that we now realizing how important actually interacting this way is, instead of being on our phone 24/7 on FaceTime and whatever social media crap there is out there. I think it's important that actually people get the time to spend with family, time to spend with their kids, their loved ones, and if anything, it's given us as a nation, us as a world, as a community, a reset button to go take a step back and let's go forward. But this time, looking after each other and making sure that that person that used to come to the pub 10 times a week with 1 pint or 2 pints, well, how are you doing? Finding out more about what's happening in their lives, and having that interaction has been and will be a big part of the future going forward.
I think what you just touched on with kind of the idea of looking at COVID-19 from a positive lens, and that kind of stepping back and realising it's time to reset.
Look, it's been terrible. I'm not going to take that away from anyone.
No.
It's taken its toll in terms of people's mental health. The loss of life has been devastating, and again, other illnesses that are underlined and not being able to be treated. I think the impact has been really, there's a negative side to it, but I think a lot of people in the industry, and including myself, have tried to look at the positive and try to look at the way we can adapt to still have a business, because it's not a case of we've got money coming out of trees and whatever, but by adapting and trying to change the way we serve and the way we the click and collect culture and the takeaways and obviously Kingdom's Gin. It's just to try and basically survive and hopefully have a business when we come back, on the great comeback.
I mean, for you in particular, I feel like it's been kind of a culture of not just survive but thrive. And I feel, with your 3 venues and starting Kingdom Recommends Gin, you kind of just taking this opportunity to see how you can adapt to what's happening. So how does that come about?
I think it gave me, the 2 days before Mother's Day is when we shot. And I remember we were fully booked, and the suburbs normally on Mother's Day is buzzing and it's a great atmosphere to be in. And I think the first 2 days I was devastated. I was absolutely lost and angry and pissed off and all the things the emotions that you can imagine. But the next day it was a case of wake up. We rang everyone and said, look, we'll still be able to do a takeaway for you. We had to really adapt within 2 days. We had no takeaway system whatsoever. And to this day, I'm forever grateful for those people, because we had people that waited for an hour and a half. And, that was heartbreaking, because I was just like, oh my God, that's not really what I wanted to deliver. I wanted their food there within the time that they wanted, but we weren't able to do that, and we were adapting. And there was some really great comments of people that just went, listen, we understand totally that this is new to you, so don't worry about it. We'll wait in the car, we'll have a beer and we'll crack on. And that spirit and that feedback of, actually, do you know what? We know you're not, this is new to you. We know that you're struggling, but we will be patient enough, and we will give you the time to be able to deliver the Sunday roast that we're hoping for. And obviously the first few weeks, there were mistakes and whatever. But once we got into the hang of it, the support that we got from the community and the support that we got from everyone around, and again, back to the spirit of Ubuntu, I keep saying this, was just phenomenal. And basically, that propelled us to be where we are today. Because if that hadn't happened, this we would probably be talking about this venue shutting, because we wouldn't have been able to afford it. And also, I think the spirit of just that fight and never give up and never let never let anything that you've built go to pot kicked in massively. And with some of the team members and the family and whatever, we were able to start takeaways, and that propelled us to where we are today.
And do you feel that the kind of positive steps that you've taken to implement takeaways in the 3 venues and things will live on long after COVID?
Absolutely. I think that is the side of the business that we'd never thought about, that we have to think about, that we have to get better at, and we are working to get better at. The click and collect culture is here to stay. Just because we open on the 17th of May doesn't mean that everyone is going to be coming down right away. It's going to take time. But we need to be able to make sure that we give people and our guests the experience of still feeling like they're in the suburbs or the yard or Old Jude's. And it's just about being able to make sure that our guests know that they're not forgotten and they're not second class. We value them as much as we value the guys that are going to be coming in. I think that the click and collect is here to stay. And throughout, we will try and grow it, we will try and adapt, and we'll try and get better at it, because ultimately, as I said, it's not going anywhere.
I think what you just touched on as well, with regards to kind of keeping guests engaged and feeling welcome and still as part of the community.
Yeah.
I've seen that a lot of your social media pages and your outreach online has really grown during this time. So has that been a way that you kind of kept people's spirits up and kept
because there's been videos of me being totally silly and me being me. There's been some serious conversations that were brought up, with regards to diversity, with regards to Black Lives Matter, with regards to looking after each other, mental health, which is a big one. There's a load of conversations, and actually, one of the things that we try and do with our pages is it's not about us selling what we are. Yes, we're going to tell you that we've got this on and whatever, but actually it's about just interacting and sharing what we do and what we were passionate about, and being able to get feedback and jokes and have a laugh, and just try and keep people laughing and smiling, because in isolation and throughout the period of COVID, you just need something, or we felt that we could do something with our social media that was inspiring, and as well as make people forget about the kind of current climate that we're in.
Definitely, and I think that it has had that impact where people have seen your face. Sometimes even just seeing that is uplifting enough too.
I don't know too much about the pictures and the videos and whatever, but if it brings a smile on someone's face, that's all I care about, because at least I then can feel that actually we're making a positive impact on people's lives, and that's again a mission that we have to continue and have to thrive to, because I think if anything COVID has taught us is that we need each other more than ever.
Yeah, and I think that will trickle into obviously when your venues do reopen, the yard, people will be hopefully kinder to each other, and there'll be that enhanced sense of community that's been built online.
I think as I said, the spirit of Ubuntu is about building each other up, and building and pushing each other to better each other up. And ultimately that's important. We're still going to do our community work and the things that we do, that we're involved in, and we'll probably do a bit more, because I think it's important that we that engagement doesn't stop and continues. We've been doing it for the last 8 years, and we will continue to do that because it's important to me.
As a real kind of figurehead in the industry, you are well known in the hospitality industry.
I wouldn't say figurehead.
I think when you say kingdom, everyone knows exactly who you mean. Do you think, in your opinion, that there's a way to kind of future-proof from events like COVID in the future, or is it a kind of, a way of adapting to it that you could recommend? Or
I think saying things like future-proof it, I don't really think you can future-proof something like this. This is unprecedented. You can't. How can you plan for this? How can you? No, you can't. You can't. But what you can do is look forward and have the mentality to adapt. Have the mentality that okay, this is happening, devastating as it is. We have to keep moving forward. And we have to keep trying to make sure that after whatever the event is, there is something to come back to, because that just gives hope. That gives hope to me. That gives hope to the team. That gives hope that actually there's something to look forward to. That's fundamentally the most important thing.
Yeah, and I do admire individuals in your position whereby you have kept that hope for the public. When everything does return to normality.
Oh, perfect.
Excuse me. So I have your white lady. So we have obviously Kingdom's gin, Concho, lemon, sugar, and egg whites. And then this is a personal favourite of the boss himself.
Oh wow!
So Kingdom's gin, a tiny little bit of vermouth, and then fresh orange peel over the top and nutmeg, which is the flavour for the gin that you've used.
Oh, fantastic! Thank you very
much.
Enjoy
your drinks.
Yeah, thank you very much.
Cheers to that.
Yeah, cheers. Cheers.
Oh wow!
Beautiful. That's really good. That's really good. Can really taste that nutmeg and orange.
What could happen?
Anyway, right. So yeah, you can't future-proof anything, but it's about adapting, and it's about looking forward, and it's about making sure that those that are around you are in the same mental state that we're gonna fight this and we're gonna win, and we're gonna beat it. And yeah, that's ultimately how if we were to go through another, I hope not. I really touch wood, pray that we never go through this this level of hardship ever again.
Being more positive now, how do you feel about the future and the coming months and hospitality reopening and returning?
I'm looking forward to it. I think we're all looking forward to it, and I think I've mentioned in the past the importance of the hospitality industry, and the importance of how it is on people's lives and the impact that it has. I think the team and the guys are edging to showcase the new food, the new drinks. There's load of different things that we're going to be doing, and yes, we've had the time to be able to think of ideas and try and improve and try and adapt and look forward. But ultimately, just seeing people come through the door and try food and drinks and hopefully give them. Well, I hope Boris allows us to give them a hug. Then that's what I'm looking forward to. That's seeing people and sharing a glass or two and having a laugh and catching up. That's what I'm really looking forward to.
Hopefully sooner rather than later, because I know that I'm definitely looking forward to that as well.
Yeah, and I think it's important. I think, I think from now on, I hope people respect the hospitality industry and take care of it and harness it and make sure that the local pub and the local boozer or the local restaurant and whatever is either full at all times or at least is surviving, because the margins are very, very tight and they're very, very small, and we've got to appreciate that we've pretty much been shut for 10 months with no income coming in, and that's been very, very tough. And as much as there has been a bit of support from the government, I just don't think it's been enough, but that's another day's conversation.
Yeah, but I think as well there definitely has been a motivation for people to go back to shopping local and supporting local hospitality businesses.
Absolutely.
People have kind of moved away again from going to those larger,
Yeah, absolutely. And I think, especially in Hull, it's so fundamentally important because there's some great groceries, there's some great fishmongers, great butchers, and I think again, what it's taught us is that we've got to look after these small independent businesses because they are the heartbeat of everything that we do, not Amazon. In the nicest possible way, the money that they're making is not necessarily getting filtered and back into the community, whereas buying your fish and your groceries and your meat and whatever from local butchers and whatever, that stays within the area, and it's important that going forward that's the mentality.
I think that is maybe one positive to look at as well, the reappreciation for kind of the British high street and things that we were starting to lose pre-COVID, kind of come to the forefront of people's minds again.
Absolutely. As I said, it's important that independent businesses are pushed and are supported from the council and the government, because they are the bedrock of the big bounce back and the big resets and the big positive feel about moving forward. I think that's very important.
And of course as well, I think it's important to mention the people that have held up this industry and the hospitality industry in particular. There's team and
there's a lot of people to shout about, and there's a lot of heroic acts, and I remember on the first lockdown, most of the restaurants that were shut were doing food for the homeless through in partnership with Share Shop as well as Soul Kitchen, and how important that was. And there's loads of stories that I could talk about and tell, but I'm very proud to be part of this industry, and I'm very, very proud to still be able to feel like in a couple of months or so we'll be able to move forward and in a year's time be really thriving again.
And how about your team? I know that they are like family to you. How have you kept them motivated and things during this time?
I think as a manager or business owner or whatever the case is, COVID has thrown a lot of different aspects of things that you would never consider doing or was part of the remit, and looking after the team has been a big part for me. Because not just for their mental health and motivation, but to give them hope that actually this is not the end and be all, because we've got a very young team, and young people They like to go out. They like to do this. They like to do that, and that part of their lives has been, for now, paused. But it's also trying to make sure that we've been creative. We also have been, obviously, as I said, working on new menus, working on new food and drinks menu, new wine menu, new service styles. So that's been important, just to keep everyone motivated. And I guess quite a lot of the guys have been involved with Kingdom Recommends, which is something totally different, and it gives them a bit of a headspace to be able to be concentrating on something and feel like they're doing something as well.
Yeah, and I think that feeling of family is really important. I know myself, having worked for you in the past,
Yeah, family's important. I think
the WhatsApp
that
groups
that's very, very important. And as I said, sometimes I get it right, sometimes I get it wrong. But if I can get it right 7 times out of 10, then I feel like I'm doing okay.
Which is great, because that's what it's all about at the end of the day.
You got to give it a go.